Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Well, it's been reported that Man City have signed 18-year-old Juventus forward Pablo Moreno in a deal that will see Felix Correa go the other way. The fee, well, it's rumoured to be in the region of £9 million. And as I said, as part of that fee, Correa will join Juventus after just one season as a City player. Correa is a Portuguese winger, 19 years old. He was signed only last summer from Sporting Lisbon, and he spent the season out on loan with Dutch club AZ Alkmaar. Now, obviously, we want to know a little bit more about Pablo Moreno, whether he's worth the money. 9 million quid's a fair bit of money. And so what I'm going to do is take a lot of information from an article that was written by Alistair Mackenzie. Now, he wrote this, I think, a very interesting and informative article about young Moreno in Forza Italian Football. Now, this was back in early May, and he described him as one of the most exciting youngsters. He wrote, "Rarely has a Juventus youth player been spoken of in as high regard as Pablo Moreno, and for good reason. After all, the Spaniard's story so far reads like the opening chapter to a tale of great achievement. Born in Granada in 2002, the floppy-haired forward's natural ability with the ball at his feet didn't take long to start making waves. Aged just 10, he was already displaying immense potential and a professional attitude that saw him cut fizzy drinks out of his diet completely. After leading hometown club Ciudad de Granada to the league title, there was no hiding him from the big hitters of Spanish football. His coach, Javier Mahia, told Marca, "He came with me on one team trip and the phone didn't stop ringing. We were called by representatives of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Betis, Sevilla, Malaga. But being a Barcelona fan, he was soon unpacking his bags at the Catalan club's famous La Masia Academy. His development in the shadow of the Camp Nou was extraordinary. In just 4 seasons, the young forward scored more than 200 goals, a remarkable 72 in his first, then 41, 66 and 34 in subsequent years. His talent saw him earn caps for the Spain under-16 side, aged just 14. Barcelona were understandably eager to hold on to one of their brightest talents and tie him down to a long-term contract. But Juventus sporting director Fabio Paratici had other plans. The Italian made his move in the summer of 2018, convincing Moreno to leave the club he supports and the comforts of his home country for the unfamiliar surroundings of Turin. Juve handed over a reported €700,000 for the 16-year-old, underlining their faith in his bright future. Fleet-footed attacker couldn't muster quite the same deluge of goals in his debut campaign with the Primavera side, registering 4 goals and 4 assists in 29 games. But his coach was keen to point out that patience would be needed with a player who was 3 years younger than his opponents and adapting to a new style of football. Soon enough, Moreno was taking steps towards senior football. He debuted for the club's under-23 side in Serie C in November 2018 before being called into the first-team squad by Massimiliano Allegri for a 2-0 Serie A defeat to Genoa in March 2019. By this point, the Spaniard was training 2 or 3 times a week with the senior squad. He posted a picture on Instagram with Cristiano Ronaldo and was soon being dubbed as the Portuguese's protégé. Speaking about his introduction to the first-team squad, Moreno told Otro's All Eyes On show, "Pablo Dybala and Cristiano helped me the most. Mostly with things I didn't understand, like preventing injuries. They explained things to me and told me what to do." Moreno starred for Spain's under-17 side at the European Championship and World Cup in the space of 5 months, reaching the semi-finals and quarter-finals respectively, before being promoted to the under-18 squad. This season, he has continued his development at Primavera level, registering 1 goal and 2 assists in 18 games so far. But his performances in the UEFA Youth League have been most eye-catching. His superb display against Atletico Madrid, scoring twice in a 4-0 destruction of the Spaniards, earned the forward rave reviews, while he went on to score 2 more goals in the following 2 games. Now, for me, anyway, looking at him, the young lad he looks very versatile with flexible options as to where to play. His superb technique and movement has seen him deployed successfully in a variety of attacking roles: winger, striker, trequartista, that's an attacking midfielder, and even in midfield as a mezzala. That's basically he would play flanking a regista, or the playmaker, in a 4-3-3 formation. So you'd have the regista and you'd have two guys, the mezzale, I think they call them the plural, supporting him in midfield. Now, his dazzling footwork and trickery helps him glide past defenders. He has shown great composure in front of goal, and the professional attitude he's demonstrated since childhood continues to impress. There is a mounting belief that it's only a matter of time before Moreno makes a breakthrough at the top level. As Mahaya explained, that belief extends beyond the confines of Turin. He said, in Granada, you can see a lot more Juventus shirts than, but not because of Cristiano Ronaldo, but because of Pablo Moreno. Moreno sees no issue with setting the bar high either. Once I've made my debut, I don't want to be an average player, he said. I want to be a top player and win the Ballon d'Or. That's my dream. Well, tell you what, guys, that's high praise indeed. And it's great to see the kid has set himself high standards, high goals. Yeah, at the age of 10, already turning down fizzy drinks. Wish I could do the same. And he's only 18 years old, but he wants to be a top player. He doesn't want to settle on average. He doesn't want to settle on a cushy number. If you're a decent average player playing in Serie A, you're probably in a fair bit of money. Might be 2 or 3 million quid a year, comfortable. You can live, play like that for 10 or 15 years and have a cushy life. Yeah. But what he wants to be a top player. He wants to win the. That's his dream. And that's the kind of player you want. Not only has he got potential, not only has he got the right attitude, it would seem, but he's got high goals, objectives, and dreams. And that's really, really what you want. Now, obviously, with a signing like this, the questions abound for me. £9 million, that's a lot of money to spend on an 18-year-old. So City really must believe he has the talent to make it to the top. Now, I'm not sure exactly how the deal worked out with Correa going the other way, whether we're valuing Moreno higher than £9 million, or the £9 million include, was it? And then there's a discount for Correa. I don't know. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. Correa wouldn't, I don't think, be valued financially too highly. But let's look at it and say this kid's cost us £9 million. Now, the way I see it, City don't spend that sort of money if they're just going to get somebody in, keep him for a couple of seasons, and then move him on. When we bought players with that attitude, with that idea in mind, it's been people like Enis Unal. I think we paid about €2 million for him, £2 million or €2 million. Sold him for 10 or 12 million the season after he was on loan over in Holland. So that's kind of how I see us doing things with players. And a lot of other players have come in, for 2-3 million euros or €1 million, £1 million, and they go out on loan, and then they might end up leaving in 2 or 3 years' time. But spending £9 million, we must seriously believe he has the talent. Yeah. The last time, I'm trying to think where we spent a fair bit of money, there was Douglas Luiz. We spent, I think it was 12 million on Douglas Luiz, or a fair bit of money, a fair chunk of money on Douglas Luiz. And might have been only 5 million, but still was a fair chunk of money on Douglas Luiz. And we really thought, he had something. We tried for 2 seasons to get him a work permit. We couldn't do that. He went out on loan for 2 seasons. And when it looked like we weren't going to get another work permit, we sold him to Aston Villa, I think, for 15 million quid. So that's it's part of City's business model as well. But I don't believe we're spending £9 million quid on Pablo Moreno just to, let him go out on loan for 2 or 3 seasons and then sell him, hoping to make a few million quid profit. How much money can you make on a kid? How much can you sell somebody who hasn't played in the first team? I don't see us getting 20 or 30 million quid back, for instance. Angelino, you could argue that was slightly different. I mean, we sold him for 5 million. We were hoping to sell him for about 20 to 25 million to RB Leipzig, and then coronavirus issue came up, and we're not sure if that's going to go ahead. But that's, I think, a more unusual situation because, as I said, he was on loan most of the time, but his last loan spell was very, very. When we sold him, we had that buyback clause. So when we sold him, it was very, very good. I think it was at PSV. So that's how that deal worked. But as I said, to spend 9 million quid, it's a lot of money. Other questions that I think about why did he move to Juventus? He's 16 years old. Okay, 16 years old at Barcelona, the club he supports. Is that La Messiah? There's not many places better than that in world football, with all that history and the quality around him as well. But maybe he looked at his future and saw his options blocked. Messi's there. You're not going to get past Messi. When he went at 16, Neymar would have already gone, I think. But you got Luis Suarez. You've got other players as well. Was it, as well? I think at that time did they have Ousmane Dembele? Just trying to remember all the players they've had. So they've had a lot of talent, extreme talent that would be in front of this kid. So I don't know. I don't think it'd have been money was the motivator. So I don't know the full reasons behind his move. I'd love to know what his reasons to move to Juventus were. And after 2 seasons at Juventus, why is he moving to City? What's the reason? What have City offered him and promised him that's made him want to move from a very good club where he's got Pablo Dybala, he's got Cristiano Ronaldo there, and some other great players to learn from? Yeah. Is he worried that, for instance, it could be a worry that he's never going to make it at Juventus because of all the players in front of him? But that was the same situation at Barcelona. And it's quite similar at City. And if you want to play as an attacking midfielder at City, you've got Bernardo Silva there. You got Ilkay Gundogan. You got Phil Foden, yeah, and you've got KDB, best player in the Premier League by far at the moment. If you want to play out on the wing, you got Mahrez on one wing, you got Raheem Sterling on the other. Okay, Sane is going to go. He's not replaced. He's not ready yet. But where does he see himself? Does he see himself playing up front? That's a possibility. Sergio Aguero's got 1 season left, but I can't see Moreno doing anything else than going out on loan. As I said, why move to City when we haven't shown youngsters the progression? Sancho, he couldn't see it, itched for a move, and he left. Rabbi Matondo, the Welsh winger, same with him. He couldn't see a future. At the time, he's no way he was getting past Sane, no way he was getting past Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez and Bernardo on the other side. I think Rabbi Matondo saw the writing on the wall, and he went off to, was it Schalke? We had Brahim Diaz, another, I thought, an extremely gifted young footballer. And in the end, he went to Real Madrid. Okay, Real Madrid were his boyhood club as well. But he was struggling to get a look in at City. And the only one who has eventually started to get a look in and is actually proving his worth is Phil Foden. Okay, so the question, I've already touched upon it. Will he be part of the squad or sent out on loan? The thing is, he's 18 years old. Okay, so he wouldn't count in terms of the squad numbers. He's not a non-homegrown player at the age of 18. I think by being on City's books at the age of 18, he will end up qualifying as a homegrown player simply by being on our books for 3 seasons, including that season when he's 21. So I think he'll just get in he'll qualify if we keep him for 3 seasons. That's actually a very, very good situation to have for the future, because obviously it's an issue. The number of non-homegrown players you can have, it's a maximum of 17. So to get somebody who's actually not English or Irish or Scottish or Welsh as a homegrown player is a bonus. It's absolutely a big bonus, and he qualifies as club trained as well, I think. So that'd be even bigger bonus. But what do I see for him next season? Now, unless he comes in and hits the ground running, and let's say he gets a little bit, I don't know when he's going to come, actually come into Manchester, and when he's going to be able to train. Is he going to get pre-season with everybody else? I'd like that. I'd like him to get pre-season so Pep can rule over him, decide whether he's good enough to be part of the squad or not. For me, though, I think more than likely he'll be sent out on loan. Where could he be sent out on loan? I think an easy loan would be to Girona. They're in the Spanish second division at the moment, sadly. But they're part of the City Football Group. That's part of our umbrella. So that's been reported as a potential option on loan for next season for Moreno. He'll be playing, hopefully he could play first team football, even though it's in the second division in Spain. It's still going to be a good level of adult men's football. Other options could be our sister club in Belgium. I can't really see anywhere else around Europe. We could send him to NEC Breda in Holland, but I think they were relegated the other season. I think they're still in. If last season was null and void, or I can't remember how the Dutch finished their season, but I'm not sure they got promoted. So the worry is, he's not playing in the top league, but he's only 18. Give him a season, maybe even 2 seasons in a second division like Girona. If he does really, really well, maybe move somewhere else in Europe as well to continue his development, and then maybe he comes back to City. But anyway, the bottom line is we've spent a bit of money. We're getting what looks like a very exciting player. Remember, he was one of the stars of La Masia. And in the last 2 seasons, we've got, I think, Eric Garcia we got from there. Fantastic talent. He was the best player there when he came. And we got Adri Banabi. I wonder what's happened to him. I haven't seen much of him in the last few months, but we've taken some top talents from Barcelona now. And if we can get this kid, we've got this kid, Pablo Moreno, another very exciting talent. Look, I'm waiting to see how he can play. Could he go on loan for a season, then come back and play in our academy? I think if the talk is of sending him on loan straight away, does that mean he's too good for our EDS already? I don't know. But if he does play any EDS games for us, I'd love to be going to watch them. If we can't go and watch them in person, hopefully they'll be on Facebook or on YouTube or something. The club will have them made available. But Pablo Moreno, very exciting young talent. It's going to be interesting to see, as I said, what happens to him. Is he going to go out on loan? Is he going to be at City? I think we're going to find out in the next few months.